right, welcome. It's another edition of Clear Sport on Clear TV. Now we do preview and review the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. And today it won't be an exception as we'll be looking at the quarter-final games. And as those games have provided us the opportunity of seeing last 3 match days to be played, as 4 matches are left with the Super Eagles still in the mix. Shalaba remains my name, and I have with me in the studio Dipo Ogun. They call him Swiss. I hope I get that.
Yeah, very correct. Thank you.
And Ajibade Kazim is always there. Babakas.
Shalaba, it's always nice to be here again.
All right. Against all odds, the Super Eagles are still in the competition. Not so many people gave the Super Eagles the chance to go all the way, especially the way the coach prepared his team for these tournaments. 3 games leading to the Nations Cup, the Super Eagles lost all of those 3 games, conceding a minimum of 2 goals. But so far, so good. The Super Eagles only conceded once and were able to keep 4 clean sheets back to back to back. What has really happened? More or less like a transformation from being the weakest link, the defensive line of the Super Eagles, fastly improved and turned to the best defense that we've seen so far in this competition. It's been massive, guys. What do you make up of the Nations Cup that we have the remaining 4 teams left? In the beginning, how do you guys expect that these are the 4 teams that have been left at the competition?
Well, for me, I'll say no. Nigeria will probably be the only team I'll tip to have gotten this far. My own predictions were semi-finals. Now it looks like the coast is getting clear for a final. I don't want to believe South Africa will be a challenge for us.
All right, so you have Nigeria and who in your earlier prediction before the reality setting?
Okay, Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire to play the final initially. But after we beat Cote d'Ivoire, I was like, this Ivory Coast team wasn't a match for most of the guys in the tournament. Only to find out that they are coasting bit by bit, even if they are struggling, it looks like they are.
And that final looks possible.
Yeah, because they are both different sides of the divide. So yeah, they probably catch up.
Which other team do you have on mind before now?
I was hoping Senegal would get to the final again. I was hoping they would get to the final. I like a few of their players, and they seem to be a compact side. It's a very open-ended play from their players. It looks like they were going to defend the title, but as they say, there are curses. If you win one, you drop out at a stage. If you don't get to the final, so there are lots of things, a lot of factors playing into Senegal not going far. They looked like they were going to make it through to the quarterfinals at the time they were playing Ivory Coast, but God had other plans, basically.
So which other one more team? We are looking at 4 teams.
4 teams.
Morocco
too was also one of the teams I expected to make it through, but in fact, Morocco was the team I was thinking would stop Nigeria, because they were supposed to meet Nigeria in the semi-finals if they had gotten that far. But
as God we have it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why I said now I believe the coast is clear for us to get to the finals, because South Africa is nothing to write to about.
All right, Kaz. Do you share the same sentiment?
Well, of course, prior to the tournament, we will have the pre-tournament favorite, and the first 5 of them, they went out through the round of 16 stage. It was unexpected. Everybody were clamoring for Morocco, just like he said, and people were looking at Senegal as well to come back to defend their title. But I think complacency crept in on their own side, because if you look at the way Senegal lost to Ivory Coast, it was just a disappointment from the Senegal angle, because they have the match to lose anyway, because they are playing very much better. They were not under any pressure, unlike Ivory Coast, who were just trying to come back from that elimination, the preliminary elimination scare and all of that. So going into the matches proper, they had the early leads in the match, thinking that they have the match in their hand. All of a sudden, at the tail end of the match, they lost it. So the same thing happens to Morocco as well. People were thinking that the South Africa were not their match. Everybody think that coming back from the World Cup experience and the exploit they had in the World Cup, they should come back to Africa to complement it. Only for them to come back, Hakimi, he might not be forgiven for that penalty miss and all of that as well. And you know that you want to think about Algeria. We believe that Algeria pedigree, they will come to the party. Unfortunately, their record in the Nations Cup has not been really impressive as well. So they lost it. So the first 5 teams that people think, the bookmaker think that is going to do the magic, they were out. So it now become a white card for everybody. The Super Eagles are making the country proud. They are shown that okay, during this tournament they can get their act together and prove a point that okay, we are still the Super Eagles known to the African, and we are still one of the African best.
All right, so let's say you don't want to rule out Nigeria when it comes to the African.
Of course, nobody is going to rule out Nigeria because based on our pedigree and everything, you can rule out Nigeria at your own peril.
Yeah, at least we know how to qualify for the semi-finals. This is the 20th appearance, and they are making 16 semi-finals appearance. Before now, it's 15 out of 19.
Yeah,
so we want to consider Nigeria, but looking at South Africa, DR Congo. A surprise entrance for me based on what
yes, you could say that again, the South African, but over the time if you look at their league and everything, they're trying to complement on the player from their local team because taking that they don't have that star in the European team anymore playing for big teams in the, so they look back into their own fold and come out with a formidable team, and that has really paid off for them, the resilience and everything. So this is the Bafana Bafana have proven to everybody that cares to listen that if you look inwardly you can still get what you need.
All right, and those are the 4 remaining teams. Are you totally surprised that we have Nigeria, South Africa, DR Congo, and Cote d'Ivoire?
And Olushola, to chip in again, DR Congo, formerly known as Zaire. So some people don't even know that they've won this cup twice before now. So people might think that they're just getting to the semi-final free. No, they are former 2-time champion, if you care to listen. So, but just under different nomenclature, yes.
So that's where I'm actually driving at. We have a South Africa, Nigeria, DR Congo, Cote d'Ivoire remaining. All are past winners. Can we say the competition that was tagged, the competition for the minnows, as that tag has fallen off?
Well, if you look at the menus, it's a good thing for African football because at least having a country like Cape Verde giving the big teams a run for their money is a good thing because I know that they will go back and complement on that, hopefully, and which is going to be a total advantage for them. And looking at other teams like Mauritania, looking at other teams like just other teams as well, it shows that something good is happening across the African continent, and some countries are trying to develop their football domestically and trying to go to the world and show that okay, we have this. If you look at one of the Guinea of a team now, we have one player playing in the Stuttgart and he has scored like 16 goals in 14 matches. So you understand, and you look at a player from Guinea in Bundesliga, that has been a long time you heard something like that. If you look at the Burkina Faso as well, they have a stronger team. If you look at Angola, so talking about the minors now, they've really proven that yes, they have something, and you are not going to rule out the Equatorial Guinea who have their players with 5 goals as well. So you understand.
All right, now this competition was expanded to 24, and as those smaller teams make enough shouts for another expansion deeper, because all of these 8 teams that made the quarterfinals the last time in Cameroon, all of them failed to make it into the quarterfinals this time around, and we begin to hear smaller countries like Cape Verde, Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, and all of that, where the big boys like Ghana, Cameroon, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, all of these teams cannot even make it into the quarterfinals. As those smaller teams make the expansion of this competition justified, and can we ask CAF to say, okay, extend this to maybe 36?
Okay, I have a big problem with the expansion of this tournament. And I'll take it back to as far as USA '94. In USA '94, we didn't have England, we didn't have France. If you expand the tournament, it makes it easier for anybody to qualify. I don't see merit in that. I believe we all have to work hard to make it done. I prefer it when the tournament was 16 teams, basically, and you get to the quarterfinal straight, and we move forward. But put it into perspective of where you're coming from. The smaller teams have shown that, yeah, we've done so well and we deserve a shout. The World Cup is going to be 46 teams or thereabouts, 48 teams in the coming years, and it helps a continent like Africa showcase more of this kind of players. Hopefully we have the Cape Verdes and Mauritania and the likes qualifying or going head to head with these big so-called big. There are no winners in football anymore, or maybe in Africa there are no winners in African football anymore, and I think expanding it, they've given it a good shout. It's it's looking like it's going to be worth it for Africa
Based on what we've seen at
at this tournament, basically. But I hope it's not just a one-off thing. We come to the next tournament and they fall out like pack of cards.
All right, we'll see how it goes. But in case you don't know, we have 4 teams that have won the competitions in the quarterfinals and 4 teams that are aspiring to win. And the pairing was made in such a way that it was a former winner versus a team that is yet to win. And all of the former winners made it into the semi-finals, while the teams that are aspiring to win for the first time all fell off. And we now have the semi-finals on our hands. We'll go on this break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at those games of the quarterfinals. DR Congo beating Guinea. That's the first time DR Congo will be winning their first game of this competition, and in full time, I need to say that. And they scored 3, not just once. And Nigeria beat Angola by a lone goal. Mali beat Cote d'Ivoire by 2-1, while South Africa defeated Cape Verde in that bizarre penalty shootout where Rowan Williams have to save 4 penalty kicks out of 5 played. And someone told me that that's the only time ever in world football that a goalkeeper will save 4 out of the first 5 kicks. Go nowhere. Clear Sports on Clear TV will be back. Alright, welcome back to the show. It's still Clear Sports on Clear TV, and we are reviewing the quarterfinals and the semi-final games, previewing the semi-finals game that will be coming up on Wednesday, as Nigeria, South Africa will be going head-to-head once again. As well, we'll be having Cote d'Ivoire and DR Congo in the second semi-final. But for now, you can send your comments and contributions. Which of the players has really impressed you that you think should be the best player for this tournament, or you think we have to wait till we have the finals before you can contribute, before you can see the best player? But if you have any best player in mind, you can hit us on our Facebook channel. Just follow us on Facebook at Clear TV Nigeria. You can also do that on Twitter at Clear TV NG, Instagram Clear TV NG as well, and even on YouTube at Clear TV Nigeria. Then you can also make a contribution. Do you think these smaller teams have actually do enough to ask CAF to add more teams to these to the numbers that we have on ground? 24. Can CAF push the numbers to 36 so that there won't be no need for round of 16 where third best team will have to qualify and start disturbing other teams dragging for the course, just like the way the Ivorians do? Anyways, let's start from the Ivorians. More of like an elephant that was shot by an hunter, escaping with a gunshot wound and almost dying. Then someone somewhere tried to resuscitate, and before you know it, he's back on his feet and it's looking like he's gunning for the trophy. What kind of mentality do you think will be going through the Ivorians, the way they've played this competition? They've survived almost all unbelievable hurdles, and now they are in the semi-finals and they are looking like they might just win this as a host country.
Olushola, the Elephants are proving to be one of the never say die team. You know, they are proving to the world that, okay, even when the ships are down, you can easily pick up your pieces and show to the world that this is what you have. You know, they have been into mental stress, they have been into physical abuse by their fans and everything. They have gone through everything. Somebody don't need to go through when you're in a tournament. You know, they lost their leader, which is their coach, and all of that. A lot of things. They were minus 3 with 3 points. Everybody thinks that they are going home. Right here, we're having the Ivory Coast playing the semi-final. It's been a massive tournament for them. Just like we said in one of our previous edition, I said that there was this big expectation from the Ivorians that their team is going to give them what they need. You know, the last time they won, I think that was in 2015, which happens to be the second that they'll be emerging. So the Ivorians have come to the party. They have these little things still going on for them, that believing that, okay, we have been written off already, so let us prove them wrong, because they have nothing to prove anymore to anybody anymore. So they have proven to the world that even when you are beaten, you can still show the world that you are not beaten, and Ivorians have shown that.
Wow, the story of the Ivorians at the Nations Cup is good enough for a thrilling movie, if anybody is willing to shoot that.
Of course.
Down and out, but they never gotten.
They've never had it easy. You know, going to the second round, they have this Senegal to contend with.
Every game comes with different stories, and this last one is even more intriguing. Against Cote Mali, they considered the penalty, a player down, and they considered the goal eventually. In the second half, late in the second half, where finally the goal is here and they can allow others to rest. They should just be going on. But before you know it, 2 goals, 9 minutes, they equalize. Another 9 minutes of the side, they scored the winning goal, and it goes on and on.
The Malians should have themselves to blame.
Have they been lucky, or is there something that is in that team that we don't see?
Well, I think they've been on a purple patch really, and it's working at the moment. So you can only beat what's in front of you, and they've done that. You can't rule them out at this point, at this stage of the tournament. The game against Mali, like he said,
is it due to luck or something?
It has to be luck. Basically, it has to be luck.
I would love to disagree to that.
Well, you might not agree, but what I'm saying is luck. Is imagine Mali are taking 3 of those chances that they had. They should have killed that game 3-0 even before Ivory Coast had the chance to put a goal behind the net. But what would you call that? Luck. It happens in football. It's normal. It's standard. You can't write luck out of all these stories. You have to have an element of luck. You have to be lucky at some point to even have a say. From the start of the tournament, we were obviously favourites. They had the 12th man behind them. They have fans that are supposed to be behind.
Players too.
And they have players. Max Gradel is still playing football, for crying out loud. I'm sure if you look at it originally, he's probably older than me, not more than 3 or 4 years. But they have experience. They have players. They sacked their manager at the course of the tournament because they thought,
they are out already.
Please, what else is luck? I don't know how else you want to define luck.
Maybe
I have another definition to that, because in football you still have to boil down to your tactics. You still have to boil down to understanding the strength in your team. Immediately the Ivory Coast were 1 man down, the coach take a tactical decision, taking off Pepe, from the flank and bringing another defender to solidify the defense. That's a tactical change, and you see how this defense became so solid. But from there, in the second half, they grow in towards the end, around 70 minutes, they started mounting the pressure. Nevertheless, regardless that they are playing 1 man down, the coach could have said that, okay, let's just save our name instead of going through another 4 bashing. Let's just consider 1 goal and we go home. No, he was still pushing the player to go forward. That is a tactical impetus, and we cannot overrule that. So if you want to call about luck, then you will tell me that the coach has not done anything, which I will totally disagree.
Can we say the Malians are unlucky?
No, not the Malians are unlucky. The Malians are so profligate that they lost their chances and all of that. They were just playing as if they have nothing to offer, or they believe that they've won the match everywhere. They were overconfident, just like the Senegal. They believe that their viewers are not going to come back into the game. And it was so pathetic seeing them fighting against the referee at the end of it, because I wouldn't know what the referee would do for them again. The referee gave you a penalty.
He wants the referee to allow.
No, they were supposed to take that corner, yeah.
To which corner? The same referee that gave you penalty, the same referee that allow you to come back into the game and all of that. What other thing do you want from the referee? So it's at the referee discretion at that particular moment, and there's nothing you can do about that. And this time is up. You play a man advantage for the larger part of the match. So I don't think that is luck. Their voyeurs were resilient. Their voyeurs were determined. They believe that they have the impetus to win this match, and they won it.
For me, again, I would say you can call all the tactics in the world. You call it because it worked. That is why you think it is a great. Do you
remember that the 2 players that scored for Aguilera, they came in from the bench?
Yes, of course.
And you still
see, Manchester United have used Michael Carrick as Ebra in defense before, and they won that game. They played the Champions League side. They played against Fulham and lost. That's it. So when it works, it's good. When it doesn't work, luck comes in.
Okay, but one thing you cannot take away from the Ivorians is their resilience and their never say die attitude to games. They came back against Senegal. They also came back against Mali when you thought they are out and down. So maybe how far can this resilience push them? Can they win the Nations Cup? They don't look like a side that should win.
They look like a side that's tried to run around their troubles and find a winning formula for themselves. They may not be the best team, and in fact, just like we said earlier on, the best in our house already. So the supposed best in our house already. So it is just a white card for anybody to come in and pick it. They have the added advantage. Of course, I'm not going to rule out my Nigerian team, which we have our sentiments there that Nigeria must win it. But talking about the analysis now, the Ivory Coast have a better chance, even a more better chance against the DRC Congo.
So they are more better prepared psychologically now to go all out.
I can say that definitely they are.
Okay, let's look at the other teams that also made it. Talking about DR Congo and Guinea. They've played 5 matches. Just one was won within the allotted 90 minutes for a football game. Right. And they are in the semi-finals. They defeated Guinea by 3-1. The rest of the matches ended in draws. The last time they have to qualify through the lottery of penalty, and now they were facing Cote d'Ivoire. How do you see that? Cote d'Ivoire have won how many matches now? Just 2. Oh, 3. They won. So they've won 3
matches.
Congo only 1. Is that an added advantage that Cote d'Ivoire should beat them?
Based on this and the ongoing Nations Cup analysis, the 2 of them are on the same pairing. Why I said that is that they both qualify as an outsider, finishing third in their respective groups, if I'm not mistaken, and they just have that lottery of picking the best losers and spots to a match. Talking about DRC Congo in perspective now, they have been trying to coming up with these tactics of, if you score me, I score. If you don't score me, I stay behind. But at the end of the day, I'm going to win this match. If you want to talk about the element of luck, I can come in to say, okay, we need to draw 3 matches. They drew 3 matches in the preliminary stage, thinking that when they got to the knockout stage, but fortunately for them, they meet another of the same drawer team in the likes of Egypt, so which they drew again, but only for them to the penalty. So in the quarterfinal as well, they were a goal down already, so they were just trailing, but only for them to come back, they equalized, and they trade through. They were behind through a penalty, considering a penalty. They have their own equalizer through a glancing nodding, and they have their they come in through the match with another penalty again to be 2 goals up, and they seal it at the end of the match, going to the end of the match with a match winning. So the DRC Congo have proven that they have the resilience. Of course, the draws have been, the fixtures have been a bit favorable for them. They have this route that give them to play with this team that are not really balanced, and now that they are playing against Ivory Coast, which we all know that they are spoiled by their fans, they are whatever you want to call this for them. So the DRC Congo, well, they will play against Ivory Coast with this belief that, okay, we can do it because we've been resilient enough. But I think the Ivory Coast have the edge over the DRC Congo.
Okay, we'll see how that will pan out, because DR Congo looking like a side that may just win the Nations Cup by winning 1 game in full time, because we can actually draw your remaining 2 games.
And still call yes.
We'll see how that will go. But meanwhile, they are still unbeaten. Just like Nigeria. Nigeria is still unbeaten as well, and that's the only 2 teams that are unbeaten. And I'm a fan of the champion being unbeaten, so maybe we'll see how it goes.
But I'm a fan of a champion having a class. I'm a fan of a champion showing the merits of being the champion, not just trying to take the back door to get the trophy.
But you can't tell me a side that have played 5 games.
But if you want to compare the unbeaten ones now, Nigeria have drew only once, won the rest matches.
But we are both in the semi-finals.
But we have won more matches.
All right, we'll see how it goes. All right, let's look at Nigeria against Angola. Everybody are saying that the Angolans are about the best team that have qualified for that quarterfinal in terms of the way they've come out to play, and it's also reflecting the number of goals scored. They scored the highest number of goals before then, but they face a side that, because they're the least goals going. At the end of the defensive strength of the Super Eagles overcame their attacking prowess, and the Nigerian team qualified courtesy of that Ademola Lookman fine goal against Angola. Now, Angola is out. Are you totally surprised that the Super Eagles were able to make them look so ordinary?
No, there is nothing to be surprised about. The Super Eagles are more superior to the Angolans. That is just obvious thing. And going to that match is just like you said, Angolans have been the high-going scoring teams, and thinking that they're going to dispatch the Super Eagles defense and we're going to concede goal. But not knowing that we are playing against, I will still retain my word, is the stingiest teams in the competition, which we have the likes of Trusecon trying to match out the defense and spoiling other the likes of Saidu and Kelvin and all of that. making them to look more solid than ever before. So the Angola mates, they met their superior master in the Super Eagles, and we showed them that, okay, the Nigerians showed them rather that they are more better and prepared than them, and the experience counting as well. If you look at the experience, Nigeria has the experience ahead of Angola, and they have the history and the pedigree over Angola. So everything, all the momentum was on the side of Nigeria going into that match. It was just an element of little surprise. People think that, okay, probably Angola can just come up with a little surprise and win the match. And people are still going back to the 2005 qualifier ahead of 2006 World Cup, thinking that Angola might have a better one ahead of Nigeria. But Nigeria shows to them that when it matters most, they can prove the trigger.
All right, let's look at the South African side. The only time I saw South Africa played very good football was when they beat Namibia and Morocco. Very easy for them to do. But the other games, they've struggled. Against Cape Verde, they were the second best team all through. But at the end of the day, one man made a difference. That's Roy Williams, saving 4 penalty kicks against Cape Verde. What do you make up of that too? Because a lot of people also rated Cape Verde high, but Cape Verde too failed to do the needful, and the South Africans voted for them at the penalty, and because probably they know that a goalkeeper can't stop penalty kicks.
To be honest, with South Africa isn't a team that I had hopes for at this tournament to begin with. I'm shocked that Cape Verde were knocked out, even though I'd prefer to play South Africa rather than play Cape Verde in that. Yeah, Nigeria. I'd rather Nigeria plays South Africa in the semi-finals than Cape Verde. Cape Verde came in sneaky, and for a Manchester United rejects Bebe to even be one of the men of their tournament made it seem like, okay, it's going to be a very wonderful, a fairy tale for them to get into the semi-finals. But not take anything away from South Africa. They've done the bit, at least they did the work when they did the hard work when it mattered most, taking out Morocco and making it to the quarterfinals. So yeah, for you to take out Morocco, World Cup semi-finalist, and come this far, I think you deserve all the pat on the back. But again, I repeat, playing Nigeria is just like ending their tournament basically.
All right, we'll be getting back to talk about those big matches in the semi-finals, and the top of the bill will be Nigeria against South Africa, and we'll also be examining the Super Eagles. Jose Pesero, as the man really done well to have an extension of his contract. Go nowhere. We'll be back to answer all of those questions. But we'll be joining Said Afolabi in Côte d'Ivoire, where he's been monitoring things for Sport Clear TV. As far as the update from that side is concerned, how is the players preparing, and what are they saying after they defeated Angola, and what is on their mind going forward as far as retaining as far as winning the Africa Cup of Nations this time around, making it number 4 for Nigeria. So go nowhere, stick around, because we'll be back.
Beautiful is it to play alongside Victor Osimhen and Moses Simon up front? Tell us how.
Yeah, no, it's strong players, strong top players. Everybody has their strong characteristics. We all merge together very well. So I'm happy to play.
You're doing something amazing. You're tracking back and marking, defending, and all of that. This is something some of us never seen in you before this tournament. What's changed?
I don't think anything's changed. I think the team and the mindset is the team is to defend and attack together. So that's been clear and evident.
Just make the team feel, keeping clean sheet back to back, almost every game.
It's good. It's a solid foundation. That's where we have to start from. So if we don't concede goals, it's good for the team, and it's good for the team spirit and morale.
Now, Ola, you guys have qualified for the semi-finals, and we could see, the stadium was vibrating. What the level of joy in you, seeing people happy. We now see politicians and every other person in Nigeria associating with the team.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that our performances are, and we're winning, and we're making people happy, we're making the country proud. So it's a good feeling, but the job's not done yet. We still have God's grace, 2 more games to go, and yeah, we're just focused on the next one.
You roll back, the years, with your amazing dribbles and all of that. What changed for you from the first game to this point?
For me, nothing changed. We just work every day, training, especially with the team, with the coaches, and we play game by game to see how they play.
4 clean sheets, consistent goal. They are good, these guys.
Is your understanding getting better as the tournament goes?
As the game goes, keep understanding each other.
Are you back to full fitness now?
I played 90 minutes today, so I hope just keep going.
Stanley?
Learned from today, but I still believe in the mentality of this team, the fighting spirit, and that's going to be the thing that's going to make us jump.
And your confidence must be growing, really, as well.
It's growing game by game, and like I said from the first game, I think we are still creating a lot, yeah, the fighting spirit I think is giving me the confidence.
It has been a superlative run for the Super Eagles of Nigeria to reach the semi-finals of the 2023 AFCON in Ivory Coast. Nobody actually gave the Ose Pesero Tutor side the chance to actually reach this stage, but they have proved doubters wrong and shamed the critics to reach this stage of the AFCON. So far now, so many pundits are actually giving the Super Eagles the favorite stand to lift the 2023 AFCON. Nobody actually gave them the chance to defeat the likes of Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Angola. But here we are, the Super Eagles are in the semi-final of the 2023 AFCON. And if results further go their way, we might see the Super Eagles winning the 2023 AFCON. Once far and wide, all man abroad have actually give the Ose Pesero, the coach Ose Pesero, kudos and actually lauded his change of tactics, which has actually brought a very, very memorable performance for the Super Eagles. My name is Said Afolabi, reporting for Clear TV, live here in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire.
Alright, welcome back to the show. It's still Clear Sports on Clear TV. Ulshalaba remains my name, and I still have in the studio with me Dipo and Kazim. And we are looking at the Nations Cup. We've talked about how everything has panned out up to this moment. That 20 teams are falling off by the wayside, and we have 4 more teams as these teams qualify into the semi-finals. All of them are past winners, so we are not going to see a new champion, just the way we saw in 2021 when Senegal became a new champion of the tournament. Mali could have been seen to be the person, the country charging to become a new champion this time around, but they couldn't just hold on to all of the advantages, as Cote d'Ivoire have to dig deep, came back into that game and knocked them out when you least expected it. So more or less like the elephant with 20 lifestyles, what the Ivorians are, and they were playing against DR Congo on Wednesday from 9 p.m. But before then, the Super Eagles will be taking on the South Africa, more or less like perennial rivals. I don't know how serious the rivalry is, but the South Africans will always like to beat Nigeria, probably for a reason. The only time they won the Nations Cup, Nigeria wasn't there. A lot of people are saying it is because the Super Eagles didn't come and defend their title, and it's really takes lots of legitimacy in court now away from the Nations Cup. The Ivorians, the South Africans have won, and now they have a chance to go head-to-head with the Super Eagles again. Some people have actually dubbed this the Amapiano versus the Afrobeat rivalry. I don't know how far that is true, but we are not playing music, we are playing football, and the South Africans will be looking at their chances going to this as an underdog, no doubt. But they went into the game against Morocco as an underdog and came out good. How far is the chances against Super Eagles? I have Dipo here with me as well as Cass. How much of an upset can the South Africa pull in this game? But someone told me we have to avoid penalties if we want to go if we want to beat South Africa.
Yeah, I agree. Avoid penalties. I think you have something else counting it for them in
the goalkeeper?
No, the CAF president in South Africa.
With that
so yeah, so no, not even the penalty, but the game generally. You will understand the politics until you see that Nigeria lose that game. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Nigeria is going
to be fearful of most of it. Do you agree with that sentiment?
No, I don't agree with that.
It was just on a lighter note.
Of course, I understand it's on a lighter note.
Remember in 2000 when we beat them in quarterfinal and play the final against Cameroon. It was the Cameroonian was the CAF president, and a lot of people felt, he had a hand in the way we lost our kicks.
That's why I beat that. That was actually why I beat that statement.
I don't want to delve into such into such the controversy if I would say. And like rightly said, the 2000 we play South Africa. I think that should be in semi-final because I think we play against the Senegal in the quarter-final 2-1, and in the semi-final we just give them a normal beating, washing 4-0. So there was no contest. So coming back about 20 years, 2000 and now is so decades apart, and a lot of things have changed. In our last matches, 5 matches now, it's been a draw. So we are not going to. But when I say draw, we 1-1, South Africa 1-1, and the rest has been draw. So in the last 5 matches, there is still a better team between the two sides. So we are looking at a team that is coming into this game as well. That will be coming into the game with the defensive mindset, because the strength of both sides has been their defense. If you look at the South Africa in the quarterfinal, everybody thinks that they will go all out against the Cape Verde, hoping that they are the better side and they are more superior side. But no, they work on their own power, on their own strength, which has been their defense as well, because they've gotten that right in between. Because if you look at against how they play against Morocco as well, their defense was so resilient, trying to curtail the Moroccans' incursion. So the same thing happened against Cape Verde. Cape Verde were the enterprising side, playing all the attacking football. The South Africa was soaking the pressure, and at the end of the day, the match went into the penalty. Of course, the penalty, this has been the lowest scoring penalty I've seen in recent time. 2-1. When you see 2-1, you want to think that happened in the penalty shootout.
The South Africans lost 2 out of the 4 played, while that
was why I say low scoring penalty. Yes, they just won.
So is it boiled down to the ingenuity of the South African goalkeeper, or those guys?
Poor penalty kick. Poor penalty kick.
So the Super Eagles should not be
poor penalty kick.
Fearful of.
We are not even talking about penalty playing against South Africa. We should have our business done within the 90 minutes. We have the strength, we have the pedigree, we can finish this way. If you judging by this tournament now, I'm not talking about any pre-tournament and whatever or pedigree. Judging about this tournament, Nigeria has been the better side. Based on what has been on display during this tournament, Nigeria is still remain the better side. We've won all our matches except one that we drew. South Africa have picked some draws and they've lost some matches as well. So when I said draw, their last match happened in the regulation time. They have this draw 0-0 before winning it in the penalty. But Nigeria cannot play based on this tournament. After we play 90 minutes without scoring a goal. Of course, we will not go all out leaving our defense in this area. We will still have to ensure that our defense will remain the same thing. And if you look at Nigeria and South Africa, just suppose the both side starting lineup, the two coaches already they maintain their starting lineups, only that they will just tweak it with 1 or 2 player changes like that. But largely they've always result in using the same core set of players that has been executing the match from the preliminary. And one thing going for the two teams, no injuries, worries, no suspension and all of that. So they have their handful against to pick from any player they want to pick. Nigeria has the edge over South Africa. Osimhen has been coming to party. He's not scoring the goals, but he has been making the right runs. He has been doing the assists, and you cannot underscore his.
So on paper, it's looking like Super Eagles should win against South Africa without pushing.
On performance, I don't want to know what you mean by on paper, but on performance, because when you say on paper, we'll go back to the history. But I don't want to judge by history now.
When I say on paper, I also look at the quality of players.
At the quality of them, yeah, Nigeria squad will drive the South African squad. Because if you look at the South African squad, majorly they have these homegrown players. They are having this experience, and they will consolidate on that. But Nigeria, if you look at Nigeria from the defense, of course we have the new goalkeeper that is just coming to the fray. But aside from that, we have Kevin Bassey who has been there. We have Trusekong who is playing like 3 or 4 Nations Cup, and we have other players there. Has been there.
Nigerian team has really showed the class that we expect.
I think the shown stuff of
yeah,
champions. Consider just one goal and scored 6.
And they're going into this competition. Nobody actually give them any chance. Now, can we start beginning to look at the coach Jose Pesero like a coach that can be trusted with the future of this team?
He's already said it that he was eyeing a semi-final spot. He's done his bits as far as he's concerned, but he should not relax. What he's done has shown us that okay, we can go to tournaments and actually play good football.
He's not a bad coach.
Exactly, but people are already judging him based on the 2 or 3 games they played prior to the tournament. Like, how can you lose 2-0 to Guinea-Bissau and the likes? But what he's done with this team, maybe I don't understand what he's done with it, but what he's done with that defense has shown that even if Harry Kane, Messi, and Ronaldo come in against Ekong, there's no going past that guy. He's proven to me. I've never been a fan of himself and Balogun, to be honest,
but so far, the man has come up with something.
And he has a goal to his name too.
All right, let's look at Jose Pesaro from your angle, Kazim. He has been able to transform that defense line from what Deepa said into some sort of world class. He changed a goalkeeper, returned Ekong into the mix, and tried to also come up with a kind of formation that suits the players that he has in camp, and it's working for him. Do you think the NFL actually said cut semi-finals, once you get there, then we can look at extension? Do you think he has done enough to be trusted with the Super Eagles for the next 2 or 4 years?
Well, let me pick it from the angle of the NFL. Over time, the NFF are always trying to shoot themselves in their foot, because Nigeria should not be going to the Nations Cup and having his semi-final target. The target should be for the cup. So you are not going to tell me that by the time we finish, Nigeria finish 4th, then they will say that the target has been met. Because based on contractual agreement, if you give a coach a target of semi-final and it was in the semi-final, whatever happens after that will be a bonus. So will NFL be satisfied that if Nigeria come out 4th, you understand? It's not just winning it, not just not winning it, but finishing 4th. So we did give them the audacity to extend his contract. So that was why I said that it has been a lazy decision from the part of NFF to give Pesaro the semi-final ultimatum. The ultimatum ought to have been go there and get the gold for the nation. That is number one.
Would that not be too much to ask for the coach? Because if I understand what they normally do is give us semi-final minimum.
Do you know that was what gave Nigeria some problem during the Genotros era? Because at the end of the day, once you give a coach a semi-final and he got to the semi-final, you will not be able to terminate his contract, because if you are going to pay some pre-agreement, because if you terminate, you are going to pay some.
So for you, Mr. Pesaro must win this Nations Cup before.
That's ought to have been the target, but as it is now, of course, if this is a Nations Cup for crying out loud, we are not going Nigeria is not going to the World Cup. This is Nations Cup, so Nigeria should work based on their standard that okay, we've won this. Nigeria has won this for how many years now, and for how many times rather. So you understand. So the country is not a menu on the continent, so they should be hiding the gold, not just say or if it could be, they should give him the final
as a target.
Okay,
let's another.
And you ask me if Pesaro, of course. Well, you cannot predict the future.
Like 3 or 4 years, taking us to the next World Cup.
No, we are not going to give any coach a 4 years contract anymore on the African continent. No, just let it be on performance basis. Okay. Of course, 1 year is too.
It's okay.
No, 1 year is too small. 1 year is too small. But 1 and a half maximum 2 years. Okay. Within the 2 years of a team, then you assess him again.
All right. Let's see how it goes. But what do you think the weaknesses of the South Africans are that we can explore for the Super Eagles to win this game, and what do you think Super Eagles continue to do for them to win South Africa and play in the final once again?
I think, like we said, we rightly pointed out that they are filled with a bunch of home-based players, local talent. It might count against them, but we've seen worse things happen essentially. So for Nigeria, I think don't consider Lee. And again, I repeat, if we score first, I don't want to know what you want to bring against that Nigerian defense. It's a no-no for you. You're not going anywhere.
And probably avoid taking the game to
exactly. So I think that's what that will be what the South Africans will come out with, trying to hold play, go to penalties. They see that their keeper can catch penalty, or they assume their keeper is good at penalties, not knowing what opposition to face.
For the first time, the Super Eagles were playing as a favorite at this Nations Cup, apart from the first game against Equatorial Guinea. And our fears has always been, how do we play against sides that play low blocks? But unfortunately, most of the sides we play so far never believe they have to play low block against us. Most times we concede the midfield in their hands and find a way to balance this up through the wings and Osimhen through the middle, and the wing backs as well, helping things out. But this time around, do you expect the South Africans not to come and play low block? How do you think Super Eagles will approach this game? Retain 3-4-3 or come all out and see how they can find their goals with a side that will likely play a low block?
Just like you rightly said, the South Africans will still be coming back with their low block and tactics, because they believe that they are the underdogs going to this match, and if you're an underdog, you don't want to go all out and face your superior masters that you want to confront them. You just have to work around your little tactics and your strength to consume the pressure. But I think the Super Eagles on their part, they should not be relying on the defensive match against South Africa. They should go all out, of course, without not undermining the defensive prowess, because a lot of times you are as good as your defense and your defense is as good as your attacking front line. So if you continue with the same pattern, the same pattern as are giving them the victory all in the knockout stage, the Super Eagles are going to emerge victorious. Let's Aga, I mean I say Aga now. Let's Osimhen continue doing what he's trying to do. It looks like Aga to do sometimes. Let Osimhen continue doing what he knows how to do best. Let's look more giving the team the opportunity to in the midfield. Moses Simon has been an alpha man on the wing. He has, if you just oppose his performance in this tournament against Chukwueze, who is playing on the other side, you pick Moses Simon ahead of Chukwueze. So he has proven that he can come to the defense and help the defense out, and he can still function on the wings and assist on the attacking front. So Nigeria has been a compact side as well, scoring goals at the minimum and at the least opportunity, and I think that will still count for them because they can consume the pressure as well. But if you look at the South Africa again, they're not really that enterprising. They just play around, trying to while away time and see how they can just counter you, how they can hit you on the counter. But Nigeria have this defense line that can control that as well.
All right, and we'll take another break now. When we come back, we'll quickly take a look at the other semi-finals, DR Congo against Cote d'Ivoire, and I'll ask my analyst here, which of these teams would they prefer to play the Super Eagles in the finals? Go nowhere, we'll be back. Alright, welcome back to the show. You can as well join us on all our social media channels. On Facebook, we are Clear TV Nigeria. On X, you see us as Clear TV NG. On Instagram, it's Clear TV NG as well. And YouTube is Clear TV Nigeria. Alright, guys, let's quickly take this to the banks. Cote d'Ivoire against DR Congo. They will say the Ivorians nicking this once again, or they will be run out of luck, like I deeply believe they are running on luck.
Yeah, I believe I'll still maintain they are running on luck. And I see them making it to the final, even though I pray not. I see them making it to the final. It's a matter of they have their 12th man behind them and their host nations, so they'll probably make it to the final. It will be an interesting one to have Nigeria play Ivory Coast in that final and see. Okay, we'll finally be tested in terms of who has the most luck this time around. But Ivory Coast seemed like a team that they are gathering steam as it goes, as the tournament progresses. Even though I still believe that they are sitting on a bit of luck, tactical whatever would come into play. You have to have tactics first before luck comes into steal the show for you essentially. And I've seen Ivory Coast, or even though I rated them as one of the favorites prior to the start of the tournament, I've seen them falter in some places and leaving teams that we're playing against not taking advantage, which shows how bad or how poorly both sides are on the field of play. Nigeria would not, if Nigeria takes on Ivory Coast, I don't think they would not explore those loopholes that Ivory Coast would give to them.
You actually prefer DR Congo? If
On face of it, I prefer DR Congo.
Are we not underrating DR Congo in this mix? They are yet to lose any game, and you want it's Cote d'Ivoire that are struggling to win their game. You don't want that side, but you want a side that have known how to manage games and still move ahead.
Yeah, because Ivory Coast. That's why I keep mentioning luck. I can't shy away from that luck, and I won't want that luck to come against Nigeria in that final.
All right, guys. Cote d'Ivoire against DR Congo. It looks very tricky. It could go either ways, but you have this feeling that the Ivorians are bigger on paper going into this game. Have they really maximized all of those fine players they have in the midfield, and that they can afford to keep Pepe, Adingra, and Sebastian Ela on the bench?
Well, every coach, whenever a coach comes in, he has his own favorite player that's going to fit into his tactics now, not sentimentally now, but based on his tactics. So the new coach came in, he tried to rejig the team and bring in some player, drop some players as well, so that which has been paying off for them. So if you look at the balance of the things, it's going to be a balanced match because two sides they are. If you want to say about luck now, you said that they are the most luckiest team, but I don't want to think anybody got to the semi-final by a vile lottery of luck. No. They work to his. You cannot have the luck in the preliminary stage, in the second round, in the quarterfinal, getting to the semi-final. No, it has to be it's a result of your hard work and resilience. So which has been working for the both sides. So we are going to see both sides that are going to come into the match as trying to have I have this opportunity to play in the final again. The Ivorian who's won 6 months, they have their fans to satisfy, they have their president and everything, the nation to make proud. So also the DR Congo, who are going there as that, we've been an outsider for a while now. We want to come back and take our rightful position. So it's going to, on the balance sheet, it's going to be an exciting match. It's going to be an equal match as well. I don't see anybody having an advantage because if you look at the DR Congo, they also know how to score goals in their in their quarterfinal. They score 3 goals. If you score 3 goals in your quarterfinal matches, then you are
that's the highest scoring side in the quarterfinal.
You understand? So you cannot rule out that. And going to the Ivory Coast against Ivory Coast, which know how to concede goals as well. They have chipped in as many goals as they can. So you want to understand that just put these two together is going to be a balanced game. I don't want to see anybody as a favorite in that match, and I don't think we are going to have a lesser competitive match in that duel.
Do you prefer DR Congo or Cote d'Ivoire?
I prefer Nigeria beating South Africa first.
Irrespective of whoever.
Let Nigeria do the business against South Africa first. Then we'll talk about that in the final. Because oftentimes that's where complacency comes in. Then you think that you have gotten your ticket against South Africa, and before you know it, the elements of surprise and all of that will come in, and we will now talking about how Nigeria do this, Nigeria do that. Let them concentrate on the South African game. Take it as if they are playing their final game as well. Don't underrate anybody. If you don't underrate Angola in the quarterfinal and you are playing in South Africa in the semi-final, a team ahead, and you know that you have a bigger tax ahead of you.
All right, we'll see how it goes. The Ivorians actually they are the team that won this competition the earliest out of all of the 4 teams. That should be
2015.
2015, just a few years back. Then before then it was the Super Eagles in 2013, and Super Eagles failed to qualify to defend the title. Then the new winner emerges immediately.
What else was on the list?
Then before then, we have the South Africans in 1996, the only time they won it, and Nigeria wasn't there as well. But the DR Congolese will be looking at themselves like, which is our best chance. Almost 50 years ago, 1974, that was the last time they won it, and 1968. So, which all of this will be the teams to play in the final. The answers will be provided after the game on Wednesday. 6 p.m. Nigeria will be playing against South Africa, while by 9 p.m. same day, Cote d'Ivoire will be hosting the DR Congo. we wish the team all the best. But guys, a lot of people have looked at the Nigerian team and said one or two players need to be changed from the first 11. Do you agree? They've mentioned Saidi Sanusi, they've mentioned Alex Obi. Some are even looking at Terry Murphy have a chance somehow. Do you think the coach should stick to the first 11 that he's been using in the last 2 games, or he should refer back to the way we've been tweaking this side?
By any injury or suspension, you hardly can change your winning teams. So
aside the science has been really bad, truly. Has it been that bad?
I think defensively he's been good. It's just going forward as he's been an eyesore, but he at least defensively he's been able to do his job to the barest minimum. But going forward now, I think that's where the problem is. Look at Bassi, for example. If Bassi bumps forward, comes back, crosses and the legs. But I don't think he's made a forward pass successfully in this tournament.
Olushola, it all boils down to what the coach expects from the player, regardless of what the analysts or the fans expect from him. As long as the player is giving the coach what he needs from, he is the one taking in charge. So he sees them in the training day in, day out, and he can see that he knows the formation he wants, and you know the player that can give you that formation, the winning formula. So if Saidu has been the man for the job for him, I don't see any needs of changing him. We might have our preference of another players, this and that, more enterprising player, the one that can go forward, dash in that job. But what if you concede goals, and what if you score goals and you concede more? Can Nigeria handle that pressure?
So no one is saying you should take him off. You're just pointing out what his weakness was.
Well, maybe you just need to improve that part of his game. His ability to cross out balls from those wing backs that role that he's playing. Well, I think when it comes forward, I like the speed and it helps the attack. But putting in the final ball has always been a problem. So the coach needs to work on that. There is no doubt about it. Putting him on the bench, that risk may be too much for us to do.
Well, Olushola, do you think a national team can teach a player how to
do those things? So
let us face reality. That's reality. We are not discussing about under 17, under 20. This is not developmental football. This is at the highest level of it. So whatever you can offer, we all understand that it's deficiency. We know that. But if it's productivity as weight is deficient, and he's a defender, he's not a striker, he's not a winger. I'm not denying the fact that he has his weakness. Every player has his weaknesses, but his primary duty is to go there and defend, which he has been doing fantastically.
All right, your predictions for that game, Nigeria against South Africa. Kazim first. Kazim should go first.
Why me? Well, it's going to be a conservative game, just like I said earlier. The two sides are going to be well of each other. No one team to concede an early the first goal, but the goal surely comes in, and I believe it's going to come in the favor of Nigeria based on the attacking prowess.
Another 1-0 in favor of Nigeria, or you see more goals?
No, I say an open game. I see an open game. It could be a 3 goals affairs.
Like 3-0 in favor of Nigeria.
I leave you to discuss that.
I think we had 2-1 in favor of Nigeria. Yeah.
All right. Those are their numbers. If you are so interested, you can put some money on that if you wish. All right. That's the size of the show for today. Hopefully, when we come back, it's going to be Nigeria against whoever qualifies on the other side in the finals. Thanks, guys, for coming around.
Thanks for having me.
It's been cool having you, sincerely. And it's a pleasure having you as well.
It's always good to be here, Olushola.
Alright, we are out of here, but don't forget to follow us on our social media channel. Our Facebook is Clear TV Nigeria. Twitter is, X Twitter, formerly Twitter is Clear TV NG. Instagram, Clear TV NG. Then YouTube is Clear TV Nigeria. We would love to have your comments and read them on the show when we come to analyze the final. We are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day.